Okay, hi again. So here I'm in D2L. Mine might look a little bit different than yours because I am an instructor, but here we're going to click on the course. And this just says redevelopment because it's not live yet, but it will be now that you're in it, so that'll look a little bit different. But here it is. So you can click on any of these things. This is to withdraw from the course, to when you're ready to write the final exam here. And there's other information here about online courses in general. So you're going to go down here and let's just view this as a student. See that I'll see the exact same thing you'll see. Okay, so here it is. I clicked on Start here. And there's a check mark here because I've already looked through it, so that will appear if you've completed that section. And this number will be slightly larger because I've looked through a few of these. But basically, here's our the course. You can click on any of these things. What I do urge you to do for sure is read through the syllabus carefully. So here's my contact information. You don't need to buy a textbook for the course. This explains what I'm going to explain in this video. Here's a list of the topics. And then you're going to just read this carefully, how to work through the course. So here it is, 1 page long. The grades, the tests, there's 3 tests, and they're take-home tests. You just do them on your own, and you submit them to the Dropbox, which I'll show you in a minute. They're worth 15% each. And so you're going to do your best. You can look at the notes to do those. So you're going to really work through. The more you can do without looking, the better prepared you'll be for the final exam. And then the final exam is on everything. It's closed book, and there is a link right here that you'll follow to apply to write the exam. So you need to do that a few weeks before you plan to write the exam, or even a month before you plan to write the exam, and pick your date. Okay, and that's worth 55%. And you cannot pass the course unless you pass this exam. Here's the grades, the grade breakdown, and the course information. Homework is for practice but not to be handed in. The tests are open book and to be handed in. And then here's, I try to reply to your email or text if you have questions. I try to do that quite quickly. If you don't hear back from me, please write again, just in case I lost it. Sometimes it goes to junk folder, or if there's lots of students that wrote to me that day and I didn't get to them, sometimes I miss them when I'm ready to write back. And you cannot use a calculator for pre-calculus, so you'll want to make sure you're not doing that as you work through, because you're not allowed to have a calculator on the final exam. There's information for students with disabilities, so there's a link there. The Math Learning Center has help through most of the year, just not in July and August. So if you're in or around Fredericton, you can get free help there. And then the last part I urge you to read, but it's on plagiarism. So what you really need to know for this course is that the online open book tests are to be your own work. So you need to submit your own work for that, and or else you could be accused or charged with plagiarism, and you don't want that to happen. So to go back, you can push table of contents here. Takes you back to the start, and this tells you how many files you have left to look through. And if I click on, say, chapter 1, so it's a check mark. I've looked through all of these files. It doesn't mean that you've done them all, but I've looked through all of them. So let's just look through that again. Basically, each section consists of a textbook. So you'll read this first. And it's basically just typed notes and extra examples. So you'll work through that with a paper and pencil is your best approach. Now, if you click this arrow, that'll take you to the next file, or you can go back to this section that we were in right here. So what you'll find next is where it says video. So this is an actual lecture from in class. So if we click on that, it takes you to a YouTube video. You can push play.
So this is section 1.2. So hopefully you've read section 1.2 already and know everything I'm going to do. Okay, so it's better to read it beforehand and then listen to the lesson.
So let's pause that. So then what comes next in the files is the exact lecture notes from that lecture. So when you're doing the homework, you could just go back to the lecture notes to find what you're looking for. You don't have to go back and watch the video again, unless there was something in the notes you say, oh, how did she get from here to here? If you go to that part in the notes, then you can hear me explain it again. So that's a really big plus with doing an online course. So in this particular section, there were 3 lectures. So here's the first video, the second video, the third video, and right after each of those is the class notes associated with that video. Then once you're done all of those videos, you'll go to the homework. And so here's the homework questions for you to try. It's 1 page, this one. It says here 1 page. So you'll try all of those questions, and then when you're happy with your answers, you'll go check them. So on the first page of these solutions are just the quick answers to do a quick check. If you've got something wrong, you could go try to do it again before you check how. But if you go to the next pages, they're all worked out. Okay, so if you do find a mistake anywhere, just let me know. But I think we've worked out all the mistakes. So let's just go back to chapter 1. So basically you'll work your way through, so that's the one we looked at it now as a check mark on it. So you'll work your way through all of these sections. Chapter 1 is really half of the course. Then there's a review let's go back up here. So review topics and questions, and then review for 1.6 to 1.9. And then once you're done everything in chapter 1, you'll click on the test. So we're just going to open this file. Back up here. So here's test 1. You'll open that and you'll print that out. That's a PDF document. Then you will do your answers, make up a good copy, and then scan it back in or take clear pictures and find some kind of resource online or as an app that will convert them to a PDF file. That's pretty easy to do. And then you'll go into the Dropbox and upload your file. So have it saved on your computer, you upload it here, and then usually once a week, Thursdays or Fridays, I'll go in and check if anyone has submitted any tests, and I'll mark them, and then I put your mark test and my solutions there for you to check your answers. So then when that happens, you should check your answers. So you're going to work through chapter 1. Chapter 2 is on graphing, so it's quite a bit shorter. And then chapter 3 is on, chapter 3 is exponentials, logs, and trig. And there's some memorization tips and things here. So you basically work through everything and then do the test at the end of each chapter. There's a final exam review. So 1, 2 videos, practice questions for the final exam, so everything all together. And then you'll write the final exam, and you do that in person with a closed book, nothing to look at. So basically that's the course. You can always push home to go back to the start. It will have check marks where you've finished, and you can work your way through, click any of these things. There's no class schedule because everyone's schedule is a little bit different. You've got 6 months to complete the course, and I urge you to start right away. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.